You are watching TVP World. We are in Budapest, in the capital of Hungary. We are attending here Budapest Forum. My name is Marcin Zaborowski. I'm Europe editor at TVP World, and I'm joined here by the mayor of Budapest, Mr. Gergely Karácsony. And I'm very sorry if I mispronounce your name, but that's not easy. It's not easy to ask. Let me just briefly say a few words about yourself. So Mayor Karácsony has been in this position for the last 6 years. He's been re-elected to the mayorship last year in 2024. And he's supported by progressive liberal forces and basically by forces which are in opposition to the ruling Fidesz party. And Mr. Mayor, I wanted to ask you, what is it like to be a mayor in this city which has different values, which is governed differently, in the sea of the country which is governed by Fidesz for the last 15 years? It must have been a hard experience.
Hungary has a government that, in fact, cannot tolerate any form of social autonomy. And among these autonomous institutions is the metropolitan municipality, which I lead. This is the largest form of social autonomy in Hungary. There's also another thing the Hungarian government does not particularly like: the European liberal and progressive values that have guided this city since its foundation. The Hungarian government is primarily supported by the rural population, so there's also an element of anti-Budapest sentiment in its policies. You can imagine what happens when hostility to social autonomies and anti-Budapest sentiment multiply. This roughly describes the government-municipality conflicts of the past 6 years. I've pursued a values-based policy for the sake of my city, while the government has essentially done everything it can to obstruct this work.
You spoke about the need to resist the feeling of being an island of freedom. Yeah? Mm-hmm. So meaning you have a country which obviously is ruled by Fidesz, Budapest is different, and that there is a certain dichotomy in that, which long-term is not sustainable. And you use the term island of freedom in the past, now you seem to think that maybe that's not the way, the right way forward. What changed your mind?
Yeah. Yes, this is a very difficult and complicated situation, to remain true to your values and stand up for them, but not deepen the polarization that exists within the country, and that is the main driver of populism. That's why I see Budapest not as opposing the countryside or as something different from it, but rather as the nation's capital, the city that will lead Hungary back into Europe. This issue arises perhaps even more sharply in Hungary than in Poland, where alongside Warsaw there are other large cities. In Hungary, there's only one true metropolis, Budapest, home to 17% of the population. The conflict between the metropolis and the countryside plays out here even more strongly than in Poland.
In 5-6 months' time, Hungary will vote in parliamentary election. Let's remind the audience the context, meaning that for the last 15 years the country has been ruled by one party, Fidesz. Now, the party which is leading in the opinion polls, TISA, is known for having similar positions on lots of issues, such as migration, such as LGBT, Ukraine, Russia. So TISA's positions are very similar to the positions of Fidesz. So will it actually make a difference whether TISA wins the election or not?
I would start by saying that naturally I am interested in a change of government in Hungary and a different approach to municipal and Budapest-related issues. So I am rooting for TISA. At the same time, I do have questions and concerns. At the Budapest Forum, my friend Rafał Trzaskowski, mayor of Warsaw, noted that winning elections against populists is difficult, but what comes after is even harder. I think many problems will arise in Hungary after a change of government, which is inevitable. In the case of Tisza, I would not emphasize any positions close to Fidesz. Rather, I would draw attention to the fact that this party came out of nowhere, swept away the opposition landscape, and Hungarian voters see a blank page in Tisza, onto which everyone projects their own expectations. That's why, on certain divisive issues, they avoid giving a clear answer. In the past, opposition parties pursued a very sharp, confrontational policy toward Fidesz, which built walls between voters. With its much less accusatory tone, the Tisza phenomenon in fact liberates government party voters. It does not treat them as guilty for having previously supported this regime. And in doing so, it makes it possible for them to vote for change.
Now, I wanted to ask about Hungary's position, Hungarian population's position on Ukraine. In the last months, the Hungarian government has been pretty much objecting to any kind of support for Ukraine, whether it's in the context of the European Union or NATO. And there have been some referendums, some consultation in Hungary happening, whereby the anti-Ukrainian sentiments were being stirred up. So my question is, are these sentiments genuine, or they have been manufactured by Fidesz party of Viktor Orbán?
This is a very legitimate question, and in fact, I do not know the answer to how was it possible to convince so many Hungarians of this position in a country that has suffered greatly from Russian military interventions. My great-grandparents were taken to forced labor camps by Russian soldiers and never returned. Many such stories are engraved in the Hungarian memory. It's absolutely clear that the government should have a clear policy toward Russia and its aggression, supporting Ukraine. Hungarian history calls for this. Part of the explanation may lie in the atmosphere that the government has created. Russian influence is considered something dangerous, and a survival reflex has taken hold to avoid confrontation with such a powerful country. But it is obvious that this is not in Europe's nor in Hungary's long-term interest.
Okay, well, thank you very much for your time. That has been the Mayor of Budapest, Gergely Karácsony, speaking at the Budapest Forum to the TVP World. Thank you very much.